Oh yeah, is it? What's today, Thursday? Thursday already! Oh my goodness. Do we have quite the episode of the Bad Batch to talk about from yesterday? We only have 2 episodes left of this Bad Batch final season. Wow. That episode was absolutely incredible. It set us up perfectly for these next 2 episodes, but we got a lot to talk about tonight. The Bad Batch are currently on their way to Tantis by themselves. Who else is going to be there? Who else is coming with them? Are they going to call for help? What do we think? What's up, everybody? It's Mike. What's my name? Oh, the Star Wars lover guy. No. The person who really likes No. Okay, that episode of The Bad Batch was absolutely incredible. So rank it out of 10 in the chat first. Let's not go any further. We can't go on in the stream until you guys rank this episode out of 10. I gave you guys mine. In my breakdown video yesterday. I gave it an 8.9 out of 10. The only reason I didn't give it a 9 out of 10 is because the previous episode I gave a 9 out of 10. I liked a little bit more. So I couldn't give it the same score as the previous one I gave a 9 out of 10. That's why I was at an 8.9 out of 10. But tell me what you rank that episode out of 10 in the chat right now. Right now! All right, what's up, everybody? Let me open up the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. So let's see what you guys are talking about. All right, let's say hi to everybody first. Let's start off the stream as we are supposed to do. Land Sky, what is up? Rem, how we doing? Brandon Baker in the house. Navarro, what is up? Rose, how we doing? Soul Star Chip 66. Fearless Zap, what is up? Maggie, how we doing? This is the way. Master Beckham in the house. Hebe King, what's up? Mando United, how's it going? Jacob the Lemur, what is up? Dr. Hemlock? Wait, what? Dr. Hemlock is in our chat right now? Hang on. John Groom, how we doing? Dustin Kennedy, what is up? What is up? All right, I think I hit everybody. If I missed you, oh, Catherine, how we doing? If I missed you, just scream at me in the chat. Just go, Mike. You don't swear in the chat. You really forgot me, and it hurt my feelings. Okay, let's see what you guys rank this episode out of 10. Let's see it. I got a 10 out of 10, a 99 out of 10, of course. I got a 10,000 maybe, 100,000, a million maybe, I don't know. A 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, 9.2, 9 out of 10. Hemlock gave it a 4.5 or a 4 or a 5. Is it because you weren't in the episode? Are you mad because you weren't in the episode? Is that what it is? 9.5, 8.5, 9.5, 9.8, 9.1, 8.5. Okay, so we're kind of all over the place, but it is 8 and up, other than Dr. Hemlock. It has been 8 to 8.5 to like a 9.5 to a 10, which is fan-freaking-tastic. Absolutely incredible. This episode, a lot was riding on this episode. A lot of fans had heard about the run times of the last episode and the coming episode and how short they were and how we were all concerned about, oh my God, these run times might be really short and people are going to be really upset about it. But guess what? The runtime was average, 26 minutes, and the episode was a way above average, as it was a very, 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 very good episode. So I'm glad to hear that you guys really liked it. I'm glad to hear it. I am very happy to see that. But we're talking about the next 2 episodes today. Yes, we're going to talk about that last episode a little bit, but we're going to talk about the next 2 episodes coming today. Because we got, obviously in the thumbnail today, we got Captain Rex and we got Darth Vader. A reunion? Possibly, which would be absolutely insane. Another reunion that fans would love to see is Asajj Ventress and Vader. But the Bad Batch, let's just take a little recap of where that episode ended off. Echo sneaks onto the science ship, turns off the sensors, and the Bad Batch latch on to the ship, with Rampart with them, by the way. So the only people currently going to Tantis are Echo, Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, and Rampart. That's it. And they don't even know how to get there. They just latched onto a ship that's going there. So when they arrive, are they going to be able to call somebody for help? Let me ask you guys this more specifically. Do you think we will be seeing Captain Rex in this finale? Because with Captain Rex probably comes the other clones like Hauser, maybe even Gregor, maybe even Wolf if he's turned by now. What do we think? Let's actually end this stupid poll, though. It's just, did you smash a like? Because I really hope you guys did. If you haven't smashed a like on the stream yet, what the hell are you waiting for? What the hell are you waiting for? Officer Murdoch, what is up? Fallen Master, how we doing? All right, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Do you think Captain Rex, we'll just go Captain Rex and the others, and the other clones will be in, well, that's not how you spell will be in the finale? Maybe not the next episode, but at least the finale. Yes or no? No maybes about it. This is a yes or no. Yes or no? Yes, Captain Rex and the others will come. They are the cavalry. Okay, so let's talk about that. We have 2 episodes remaining in this 3rd and final season. And if we go over here to StarWars.com, if we take a little gander over at StarWars.com, let's go over here. We have 2 episodes left. That is next week's episode right here, which is episode 14, Flash Strike, which I have no idea what that means. But then May 1st is the final episode, episode 15. It looks like there won't be a secret 16th episode like we were assuming before the season started. But episode 15, the cavalry has arrived. Now, this could be referring to a cavalry like Captain Rex and other friends that they've met in the past, like Fee, like Hauser, like Gregor, and all these other heroes from the first 2 seasons coming in to help, very similar to the way that Star Wars Rebels ended. But it might just be referring to the Bad Batch themselves. The first line of any of the Bad Batch members is Wrecker, and in the Clone Wars Season 7, the first line is, the cavalry has arrived. Now, it might not be referring to Rex and others, it might just be referring to the Bad Batch themselves. And obviously, a lot of people are thinking that it's likely that Wrecker is going to die because of the title of this episode. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's like because it's titled The Cavalry Has Arrived, that specifically means that Wrecker is going to die. I think a lot of the Bad Batch are going to die, but we'll get into that later. But I believe that the cavalry is still referring to the Bad Batch. But with that being said, you guys tell me, is Rex going to show up? Is the cavalry, so to speak, going to mean other people, or is it going to mean the Bad Batch? What do we think? All right, let's see. Right off the bat, 96% of you think that Rex will be in the finale, which means I might be wrong, because I'm actually predicting today that Rex, not that Rex won't be in the finale, I think he will be in the finale, but he won't be the hero. He won't show up and save the day. That's not what's happening here. I think he'll show up at the very last second after the Bad Batch have already done what they had to do, and he'll come in to just like save Omega. Like the Bad Batch will already have kind of sacrificed themselves, and he'll probably come in and save the day. Saw Gerrera coming in to help. Yeah, we could talk about that. So there's a lot of heroes from the first 2 seasons that could show up if the cavalry is referring to these group of friends that are coming to help out. Let's talk about that. So in the first 2 seasons, what are some familiar faces that we saw that would show up? And I didn't mean it, but Saw Gerrera is obviously one of them. We talked about Gregor, we talked about Wolf, we talked about Rex, we talked about Hauser. There's Fee. Then you could go like crazy, like characters like Gungi, Asajj Ventress, Fennec Shand, Harrison Dula, Caleb Doom, a.k.a. Kanan Jarrus. Like, we could go all over the place. Ahsoka? Ooh, interesting. Ahsoka's a tough one, and as I've got the Ahsoka mug out today, because I knew that would come up today, Ahsoka's an interesting one. In Tales of the Jedi, it's revealed that she's in hiding for quite a while. Now, it's not revealed how long she is in hiding for, but we assume that it's probably a little bit longer than just the year that is the Bad Batch. So I would say probably not when it comes to Ahsoka Tano, but maybe. Yeah. Awesome Cup, thanks. Thank you. I like the Saw Gerrera idea. Well, Saw Gerrera was at the end of season 2. And he's actually kind of the reason that Tech died. So he's got a lot of redemption to do himself, because I don't like him because he killed Tech. But he and his sort of rebel group are more of like they're more mercenaries. They're more like radicals than anything. Like Saw Gerrera and his people like want to kill the Empire, destroy the Empire, blow up the Empire. Not that the Bad Batch and others don't. They just take a different approach at it, not trying to kill innocent lives and tech and everybody else. Yeah. I don't think Kanan Jarrus will show up. He doesn't like clones. He definitely doesn't like clones, so that might take Kanan out of it. But what about like a Hera Syndulla? We don't know much about Hera Syndulla's backstory from Rebels, except for we saw her in the Bad Batch season 1, maybe? Season 1. And we know that she eventually finds Kanan. But it's somewhere in between there. Does she help out the Bad Batch? I don't know. Skywalker Academy says, I could see everyone helping that has been in the series that has helped the Bad Batch so far. And this is how Hera can meet Kanan. It would be cool to see Kanan and Hera meet, like, on screen. But I don't think it would be like Rose said, he doesn't like clones, so it wouldn't really make sense for him to be there. John Groom says, if Vader is going to be there, then Ahsoka can't be. True. I think Ahsoka is very, 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 very unlikely. Very unlikely. So I would throw that one out the door. Yeah. Can Sid help the Bad Batch? That's a great question. Sid helping the Bad Batch sounds like a no. She's the one who turned them in the first place. But maybe they'll try to go down the route of let's redeem Sid at the end of this. I hope not, because I fucking hate Sid. But it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Is that a clone trooper shirt? It's a stormtrooper shirt. It's got Vader and some stormtroopers. Don't worry, guys. You know the stuff I wear and the cups I drink out of have to do with the stream, you know? We'll get to Vader in a second. We're talking about heroes first. Heroes that are going to come to help the Bad Batch, help destroy Tantis, save the clones on Tantis, and save Omega. Heroes first. Okay. Sky Z, what's up? Sky Z says, they should have Rex and stuff in the show up when then Wolf comes to fight, but he gets redeemed. I could see that. We could get some Wolf in this in the finale, but he's still a bad guy until he kind of comes in. That'd be cool. Vader is a hero? I don't think so. Yeah. Ventress, that's a good question. Will Ventress show up in this finale? Give me a 1 into the chat if you think Ventress is going to show up. And give me a 2 if you think she isn't. And I'm not saying like show up at the end, because I think she'll show up at the end to take Omega. I'm more so saying she'll show up to help the heroes free Tantis and destroy Tantis. What do we think? Vader's a hero. Yeah. Sid won't do anything unless she benefits. Yeah, that kind of seems like that's how Sid is at this point. Wow, I see a bunch of 1s. Only 2 2s right now. 1.5, nice. 1.5, nice. Nice. I don't think so. She will go with Ventress. Oh, Omega will go with Ventress. Yeah, I think Omega is going with Ventress at the end of the show. We talked about possibly Omega dying last stream. I don't see it happening. I just don't. Like, why would they kill off Omega? They introduced her in this show, and it seems like she's going to have a bright future, contrary to what we read that Michelle Ang said in the last stream on Tuesday. Yeah. Sid calls in everyone and brings the white helmet off her wall to make up for throwing the Bad Batch under the bus. But no, that's not how this works. She threw the Bad Batch under the bus and caused for this whole nonsense. She can't just be redeemed like that. That's not how the Force works. No, that's not how this works. It can't. She can't just be forgiven for all the crazy shit that she did. So I don't think so. I really hope that it still ends with Omega going to her office, killing her in cold blood, and taking the white helmet off her wall. That would be absolutely incredible. But I don't think she can be redeemed. Maybe Omega will reach out in the Force to Ventress. That would be pretty cool. So for me, I think Ventress won't be there to help like the clones get freed, but I do think the show will end with Omega going off with Asajj Ventress. I think Ventress will somehow find out that the Bad Batch have either all died, or they somehow communicate to her that Omega is alone and needs some mentoring, to say the least. Ventress and Omega might get their very own Sabine and Ahsoka epilogue scene. Yes, actually. So the same way that Star Wars Rebels ends with an epilogue, where we see Ahsoka come to pick up Sabine as they're going off to find Ezra Bridger, we could see a very similar end to this Bad Batch Season 3. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah, I agree. The Fallen Master says, did you see the Bad Batch final trailer? At 23 seconds, it shows Rex shooting. Final trailer? The one from last week, or is there a new one? Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's an official clip from the last episode. You talking about this one? We can watch it. Do you guys want to watch it? It's one we've already seen before, but let's watch it again. Why not? Let's watch it again. This was the one where Crosshair says the crazy lines that make me think that he's going to die. Let's watch this.
You are a vital piece to our work here.
Secure the future of this empire.
The Empire's targeting us. If we all go in, we're not all making it out.
We're going down. Strap in. Abort the mission.
Negative.
Okay, I see what you mean. So the Fallen Master is talking about this scene right here with Rex shooting. As interesting as this is, this actually makes me believe that Rex, more so than ever, is not going to be in this finale. A lot of these scenes in this trailer are scenes we've seen before. Obviously, the stuff at the beginning with Palpatine we've already seen. This stuff with Rex and the Clone Assassin we've already seen. This stuff we've already seen. This was episode 2. When they go to the snow planet was episode 5. Like, we've seen all this stuff. It only is until here when we start getting new scenes.
Down, strap in.
So this is probably going to happen in next week's episode. We saw, finally, Echo kind of, what were they calling it? Whatever. Doing this to their armor. All their armor looks pretty cool now with it all sort of burned off or whatever the hell they were doing. Regardless, this happened in the last episode, but this looks like it's going to happen in next week's episode where they're falling from the sky. As this was the ship that they transported themselves in. That scene we've already seen. This is the Marauder blowing up.
Abort the mission.
Negative.
We've already heard the abort the mission, and guess what, guys? I was right. It was Rampart. Can we take a second? Can we take a second? Can we just take a second? I was right. It was Rampart. And all of you were like, no, Mike, it doesn't sound like Rampart at all. Mike, you're an idiot. Mike, hey, guess what? Mike, you're an idiot. Mike's not an idiot. Okay? Mike's a very smart man. Yeah. Yeah, so it was Rampart who said abort the mission. And yeah, that was in the last episode. So it doesn't mean that Hunter's going to die, but it doesn't help. So I actually think this very brief scene of Rex shooting is from episode 5, 6, the one with the clone assassin on Teth, the planet of Teth. So I actually I think this is some trailer magic here. I think we've already seen this. This is Rex in episode. What episode is it? Hang on, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. All right, let's see. Season 3. It was episode. This one right here. Episode 6 maybe, or episode 7 when they're on the base of Teth. Whoops, you can't see that. There you go. On the base of Teth. When the clone assassin is attacking them, I think that this scene is from that episode. So I actually think that this isn't revealing anything about Rex being there. It's possible that Rex isn't going to be there. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. I do believe that Rex will be there. I mean, if they have any chance of saving Omega, of destroying Mount Tantiss, they're going to need some help. And Rex is obviously that help as I actually think, and give me a 1 into the chat if you remember this line. In that same episode, episode 6. In episode 6, is one of the last moments before the last episode we saw Echo. Do you guys remember this? Give me one into the chat if you remember this, okay? Echo hands Omega a blaster. The blaster looks very, very similar to Boba Fett's blaster from the original trilogy, and yet she hasn't really used it much, regardless. The line he says to her is something along the lines of, I've made a lot of friends in the galaxy. Do you guys remember that? I made a lot of friends in the galaxy. Do you guys remember that? Yeah? All right, I see a bunch of ones. Okay, so you remember that? I feel like that wasn't a throwaway line. That was a very important line. Not only did the blaster look like Boba Fett's blaster from the original trilogy, what's up, Jay? How we doing? But it also might come back to sort of help the Bad Batch in a big, big way. Echo is currently one of the people who is now on their way to Tantis. If Echo is going to call for help, he's probably going to call Rex, and he's probably going to call all these friends that he made along the way. Now, the question is, who are the friends? We really don't know, other than the tease that the blaster looks exactly like Boba Fett's blaster. Could be Boba Fett, could be somebody else. Who knows? But what if we just get this massive surprise in the finale that Echo made a bunch of friends, and these friends are like Boba Fett, maybe Hondo Ohnaka, maybe some crazy people that we haven't seen yet in the entire Bad Batch series, but Echo made some friends. I think that line was way too important to just throw away, and I don't think that we're never going to get an explanation as to who those friends are. I think the finale might actually give us that explanation. There's a reason. There is a big reason as to why in these two episodes right here, Extraction and Infiltration, there's a reason that the clone assassin kills Fireball, Nemec, and all the other clones other than Hauser that are with Rex. Literally, all the clones die. It's like one of the first lines that Hunter says to Rex. He's like, oh, you've got yourself quite the crew here. And he's like, we need all that we can get to take Tantis and go save all the other clones. So they need a giant army to go take down Tantis. And in these two episodes right here, that army gets destroyed. They all die on Teth. So they have no army. The cavalry is gone. They all died. So there's got to be a new cavalry, possibly the friends that Echo made, possibly Gregor, Wolf, Rex, but even those three guys, maybe add Hauser, maybe add Fee, 5 people are not going to help take down Tantis. You're going to need an army. You're going to need some friends. And I think the line that Echo said to Omega about making friends around the galaxy is going to come back to be a very, very important line come the finale. I just don't know who it's referring to. I really don't. So your guess is as good as mine. Could it be Boba Fett? Could it be Hondo Ohnaka? Could it be some crazy other characters that we're not thinking of that I can't fathom in my brain? Tell me in the chat. Mandalorians, interesting. Mandalorians is probably unlikely. And here's why. The Mandalorian people are currently under the actually don't. When does the Empire come to Mandalore? Immediately, right? So maybe it could be some Mandalorian friends, but it can't be Din, as you said, Din Djarin. It can't be Din. Din Djarin's too young. Moff Gideon. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Could we be getting teases at some other villains in this show, like a Moff Gideon, like a Grand Admiral Thrawn? And now, before you say Grand Admiral Thrawn, he wouldn't be around by now, blah, blah, blah. We just saw Grand Admiral Thrawn in the trailer for Tales of the Empire. So we already have seen him in the Clone Wars animation. It would be pretty easy to take him and go to the other side. Maybe Cham's, is it Cham or Cham? Cham Syndulla. Yes, so maybe the Syndullas come to help out. That would be pretty cool. Maybe it's not Hera. Maybe it's the other Syndullas because Hera's still just a kid. I mean, maybe we could be seeing our boy Chopper. If Hera Syndulla's coming, Chopper's going to be there. Bo-Katan. Interesting. Interesting. Imagine. Bo-Katan would be crazy. Bo-Katan would be crazy. A young Luthen. I don't know if Luthen. I don't even know if that would make sense. I don't know what his story looks like. The Mandalorians were under the control of the Empire in Rebels. That's true, but Rebels is like years and years after this. Years and years and years. Yeah. Years and years and years. Oh, your pal Joe, what is up? Says, hey, haven't seen the latest episode, but I don't mind. And he sent a very generous 8-month membership badge. Says, what's up, people? Make sure you like and support the channel. I appreciate that, Joe. 8 months is absolutely crazy, Joe. That's wild. That's some incredible support right there. I appreciate that. And we do have some new members today. Taylor, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Oh yeah, we do have some other members as well, not just Taylor, who very generously joined right before the stream started, I believe. But we do have some other members as well. Jeez, sorry. Mary Hampton, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. One more. I promise, just one more. Brian, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Very generous. Thank you guys for joining and becoming members. It's the best way to support the channel. I appreciate all of the members. We are up to how many members now? 35 members. Absolutely incredible. I appreciate all of you. It's a very, very, very generous, best way to support the channel, if I do say so myself. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do. All right, let's see. Where were we? Rose says, their ship is getting shot down. Rex probably has to show up, because how else are they going to get out? Unless they steal a transport and Rex is the cavalry. Well, maybe they don't make it out. Maybe they just never get out. Simple as that. Maybe they're stuck there forever or die. Now let's talk about this. Okay, since this poll is not going to move at all, I'm ending it. 96% of you, this is like in 95% of you guys, the math is not mathing, think that Captain Rex and the other clones will show up in this finale. So that's okay. But let's ask the other question at hand. Will the Bad Batch survive? Now I'm talking, when I say the Bad Batch specifically, I'm going to add a maybe one to this. Maybe. When I say the Bad Batch specifically, I'm talking Hunter, Crosshair, and Echo. I know, Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker. You can add Echo in there if you want, but I'm just more saying the big three right there. I think Omega will survive, and I think maybe Echo will survive, but I don't even know anymore, because throwing Echo in that last episode, having him be such an important role to getting to Tantis, maybe they'll kill him off. Maybe. But we'll see. All right, let me scroll back up so I can catch up on these chats. Where was I? Ventress. Oh, I already read that. Oh, here we go. Sky Z says, I personally think that Dr. Carr should stay with the Empire, but it's obvious that she is switching sides. Yeah, so Emery is probably going to change. She's probably going to change sides and help Omega and the kids survive. Now, let me ask you guys this. These Force-sensitive kids, the names are Eva, Jax, Sammy, and what's the little furry dude's baby's name? Somebody in the chat help me out. What the hell's his name? Whatever. The four Force-sensitive children that are trapped inside the vault with Omega. Do you think those kids are going to make it out? They're going to survive this show? Or are they going to also be in the explosion that is of Mount Tantiss? Baron. Yes, his name is Baron. Is it Baron? Something like that. Whatever. Yeah. Do you guys think that they're going to survive a New Order 66? Maybe. Because these Force-sensitive kids, if they do survive, they're probably just going to have to go into hiding again, or they're just going to have to kind of scatter across the galaxies and hope that the Empire never finds them again. Yeah. They will live or re-riot? I don't know. I think their lives are kind of up in the air. You think they live? Interesting. Here's the thing. If all the Bad Batch die, as 38% of you say maybe, which is in the lead right now, if Crosshair, Hunter, Echo, Wrecker, they all die, and Omega survives, then shouldn't it be that those kids die too? Not to say that I want the kids to die. Don't, absolutely not. But don't clip that. But if Mount Tantiss is going to be destroyed, if Hemlock's going to die, if Emery's going to die, if these Bad Batch are going to die, all to save Omega, all to save her, and maybe even save the regular clones too, wouldn't it make the most sense that their prison break doesn't work and the Bad Batch have to come in and save them? Omega is trying to get this whole one-way out thing going like Andor. She's trying to escape this prison. She's found the tubes in the walls. She's trying to figure out a way out of here. But it doesn't seem like it's going to succeed. I think this next episode, although it's probably going to be the shortest episode of the entire show, might actually lead to a massive cliffhanger. Obviously, it'll leave off on a massive cliffhanger of possibly the Bad Batch being captured by the Empire. Maybe Rampart turns them in. Maybe, I really don't know. We see them getting shot down in that trailer, so it's possible that it's them getting captured by the Empire at the end of that episode. But regardless, next week's episode is going to end on a cliffhanger. I can almost like 99.99999% guarantee that, as we're going to go into the finale. Now, we talked about this actually during the watch party. If any of you guys were there during the watch party, you guys are the best. I appreciate you. But this is Joel Aaron. He's a director of cinematography at Lucasfilm, and he works on Tales of the Jedi, The Bad Batch, Resistance, Rebels, and Clone Wars. He's worked on it all. But what he posted before last night's episode was this. Okay, so On Deck decided to do the right thing. Hopefully, thanks to you all. And here is the Bad Batch teaser of the week. So this was before last night's episode. And it was just some guy power washing this concrete, whatever. And I believe we've figured out that this is referring to when Echo calls Rampart a hydro snake. So this is the hydro snake that it's referring to. But what's more interesting is the reply to this comment. This person said, ha 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 ha. That's mean, Joel. I love it. And his response was, if you know, you know. That's what that stands for. And he said 1 hour, 9 minutes, 56 seconds, and 1 millisecond, or an hour and 10 minutes. And he said, let's see you figure that out. And fans went wild. I personally believe, and a lot of fans also believe, that this means that the finale is most likely going to be an hour and 10 minutes. So, we had the reports of the next two episodes. Let me pull this up too. The next two episodes were only supposed to be 24 minutes and 22 minutes. Now, the last episode was 26 minutes, so that already kind of threw this report out the window, but it might still be close. Let me find this really quickly. Where the hell is it? Somebody sent this to the Discord, but I didn't think it was this far up. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, found it. Oh, wait, what? No? What the hell? Oh, found it. Okay. Here we go. So this was the original released runtimes for episode 13 and 14. The ones we just watched was supposed to be only 24 minutes, as you can see down here, but it was 26. Now, maybe it's just off by 2 minutes because of the credits, but that would mean that Flash Strike would only be 24 minutes instead of the 22 that it reports here. And a lot of fans were extremely upset about that because that's the shortest episode of the entire series thus far, if it's only 22 minutes, which is a bummer. And many fans were extremely upset about that until the director of cinematography tweeted out that no, the finale of this show, which we've had zero word on, the finale of this show might be an hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes. Now that sounds absolutely insane, as most episodes of The Bad Batch for the whole 3-season run have, if we go to look at it, have been 25 minutes, 28 minutes, 27 minutes, 26 minutes, 27 minutes, 27 minutes, all about 20, give or take, minutes. 24, 28, 30, 26, 29, all in the 20s, some in the 30s, but mostly in the mid to high 20s minute range. Every episode except the premiere. The premiere of Season 1, Episode 1 was an hour and 16 minutes. Hour 16. So it's likely, well, you guys can't see that. It says an hour 16, I promise, right there. Hour 16 minutes. So it's likely, since it started with a bang, an hour and 16 minute bang, it's possible that this finale might actually be an hour and 10 minutes. Hour and 10 minutes is absolutely insane. That's like pretty much the length of a short film, or not even a short film, a long film. That is pretty wild. So first, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this is him telling us the finale length? Because he literally just said, if you know, you know. And let's see if y'all can figure that one out. That's pretty crazy. I agree. This is absolutely insane. An hour and 10 minutes is bonkers. My first immediate thought was, holy crap, that's going to be a long watch party. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. An hour and 10 minutes? Do you know how much can get done in an hour and 10 minutes? That's literally the same as saying it's what is that, 3 episodes in one? People were complaining that there wasn't a secret 16th episode coming. This season is only 15 episodes instead of 16 like the last two seasons have been. But what if the reason there's no 16th episode is because this 15th one is the same length as 3 full episodes? Hour and 10 minutes would be wild, and I actually think it's a possibility. I do. I really, really do. But what do you think? What do we think? Think about how much happened in the first episode of Season 1. It starts with Order 66, Kanan and Jarrus, them saving Kanan and Jarrus. Then it goes back to Kamino, where we see the whole Palpatine speech, and we see how the Bad Batch interact with the clone Regs. Then we go to Saw Gerrera, where Tarkin comes in and sends the Bad Batch on a mission to go kill Saw Gerrera, but they don't do it. We have them get captured back on Kamino, make an escape on Kamino, and then they have to fight against Crosshair to escape. That all happens in one episode. That's like an entire season of story. So what the hell could happen in this finale? How much story could really be told in this finale? A lot. We're already on our way to Tantis, meaning the next 2 episodes, possibly the next hour and 40 minutes of content will take place on Mount Tantiss, with the Bad Batch, with Omega, all on Tantis. That's insane. So you could have Rex showing up. You could have the other clones showing up. You could have people like a Saw Gerrera, like a Hondo Unaka come in as help, as the cavalry, a Fennec Shand, a Asajj Ventress. And for the villain side, you could have Vader show up. You could have Palpatine show up, and you will still have enough time to explore all of it. Because the finale might just be an hour and 10 minutes. Absolutely insane. Let's talk about some villains. Our boy Vader. Let's talk about Vader. Do you think that Darth Vader, oh shit, get away with that. Do you think that Darth Vader, he could show up in this 3rd and final season? I'm actually going to end this poll over here so we can start up a new one about Vader. Let's see what you guys said about this. So that poll ended with, wait, what the hell? Where's the poll? Oh, that poll ended with 42% of you saying maybe that the Bad Batch will survive, but 29% say yes and 27% say no, interestingly enough. All right, let's pull this up. This one's very interesting to me. Do you think Darth Vader will show up in the finale? Yes or no? No maybes, just a yes or no. Will Vader show up in the finale? I'm very intrigued to see where that one goes, because for me, it's still very much up in the air. I don't know. It could go either way, personally, I think. All right, let me go back to some chats here before I get way too far behind. Fearless says, what if Rex shows up after the Bad Batch send them the coordinates? Together with Wolf, all the clones that fight with them, and Cody, interesting. That would be the cavalry. The force of nature hitting Tantis. I don't think Cody would be with him. I still am holding out hope that Cody is the clone assassin, but we'll get to Cody. We'll get to Cody being the clone assassin. We will. In just a little bit. But going back to what you said before, if Rex shows up in the Bad Batch, send the coordinates. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it impossible to get coordinates off of Tantis? Isn't the beginning of this season, doesn't that tell us that you can't send off coordinates off of Tantis? When Omega and Crosshair try to escape, can't they not send the coordinates? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like they would be jammed. I feel like they would not be able to just send out the coordinates to Rex and say, come on, buddy, come help me out. I don't think that would be possible. Remember, Crosshair contacted them in Season 2. That's true, but that might actually be because they wanted Crosshair to call out to them. Like, in Season 2, when Crosshair calls the Bad Batch, Hemlock is kind of like waiting there for a second, and then that's when he puts the gas on Crosshair and tells him that he's got big plans for him, which we still haven't really figured out what those plans are yet. Yeah, I think Season 2 of The Bad Batch, although it wasn't my favorite season so far, I think it did have a lot of stuff that's going to come back in this third season, in the final 2 episodes, that are going to come back and be very important. And one of those things is probably Dr. Hemlock's gas, the gas that he uses on Crosshair in Season 2. Also, the Zillo Beast. I think the Zillo Beast is still going to be extremely important, even though we haven't seen him at all in this third season. Hemlock talked to Tarkin, so transmissions can go in and out. That's true, but that's probably a secure line of an Imperial transmission that they allowed to get in and out. The World Rocks What's Up says maybe they will send coordinates to Rex right out of getting out of hyperspace. That could be the case. Yeah, once they get out of hyperspace, they could do that. That's true. Before they get into the planet's atmosphere, that could happen. That could happen for sure. I wonder if Dr. Pershing knows about Dr. Hemlock from data records. Maybe. We don't really know how much Hemlock writes down or keeps as information, and he's probably going to blow up in Tantis and never be seen from again. So I don't know if Pershing is going to know about him. I really don't. But we'll see. Brandon says, I knew the voice was Rampart when he said that line. Me too. But all you guys were like, no, it sounds like a clone. And I was like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Supernova says, do you think that Tech might be the clone assassin? All right, since somebody asked about it, I'm going to give my 2 cents. So the clone assassin. Got something in my eye. The clone assassin. After yet another week of Bad Batch, we haven't seen the clone assassin. Now, it's become more and more evident to me that this clone assassin has become less and less and less and less important. And it's really pissing me off. So let me ask you guys before I give my answer. Who do you think is the clone assassin? Is it Tech? Is it Cody? Is it nobody? Is it a clone of Crosshair? Is it somebody else? Is it Slick, as a lot of people like to think? Who could it be? Who's under the mask? Please tell me in the chat. Because I'm losing hope. I'm absolutely losing hope that it's nobody. I think it's really nobody. It's become like so irrelevant to the story anymore. Like there was a point there for like 4, 5, 6 weeks even that the clone assassin was so important. He was so important in episode 5 and episode 6. He was so important in episode 10 and episode 11 and all the ones in between. And even like seeing him fight against Crosshair, seeing him come and take over Pabu, he felt like an extremely important character. And here's the craziest part. It's the 3rd clone assassin. We saw one die in season 2. We saw one die in this early half of this 3rd season. So this is the 3rd. I just bit my tongue. Mother. Ah! That hurt. Ow.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Okay. So we that hurt. This is the 3rd clone assassin. And with Hemlock, we saw 6 back-to-tank looking things. That mean there are 6 clone assassins. We've seen Hemlock working on the future, the next phase of the clone assassin, and it looks like a Dark Trooper armor. It looks like the Phase 0 Dark Trooper armor, meaning it's likely that this clone assassin means nothing. Means nothing. And the next clone assassin is just going to come in and take his place, and it's going to be like nothing ever happened. But I do believe that, yes, the Zillo Beast will become important. The gas from Season 2 that Hemlock created will become important. And the next clone assassin, not the one that we've seen multiple times over again, the 3 remaining ones that are still in the back-to-tanks on Tantis will become important. They will be like the Dark Troopers showing up at the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. They'll probably come in and cause this huge threat to the Bad Batch as they try to escape or try to help Omega escape. I think this clone assassin that we've been focused on so intently over the last 1,000,000 weeks, let me show you. He might not be that important, sadly. This dude right here. So this dude that we've been focusing on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks might be nobody. We might have been Maroked. Yet again. Yet again. Now, I'm still holding out hope. I still am holding out hope that it could be Commander Cody under that mask. I think it would still be so meaningful to Rex's character if he shows up and kills him. And it would still be so meaningful to Crosshair and probably the other Bad Batch as well. I don't know. You guys tell me. Who is under that mask? Who is under that mask? What do we think? What do we think? Let's see. Let's see. It's Cody. It's nobody. It's Tech or nobody. See, the Tech has a lot of evidence to it, but so does Cody, and so does nobody, really. Let me explain. So Tech, obviously, the clone assassin, when he was invading Pabu, said the word domicile. And almost, I believe nobody has ever said the word domicile in Star Wars before, except for Tech in Season 2. Coincidence? Probably not. Probably not at all. But there's more evidence than that. Not only does this character, he looks like Tech, obviously just his armor in general, just looks like Tech, but Tech would be the most meaningful character reveal for the Bad Batch, obviously being a member of the Bad Batch. Now, we know that the Empire recovered his body because they recovered his goggles, and where his goggles were, there was his body too. So it's pretty evident that the Empire found Tech's body. It's kind of just as a question of what did they do with his body? Did they experiment on him to see if his blood was right, or did they turn him into a clone assassin, brainwash him, and turn him into a villain? I don't know. Now, moving on to Cody. Cody has a lot of evidence to it too. With the vibroblade, which we saw him use in Season 2, he also used in Season 3 versus Crosshair on the waterfall. But also the biggest reason I think it's Cody specifically is because of him going AWOL in Season 2. In Season 2, he goes AWOL and we never see him again. Ever. And what's the craziest part about that is he is the second most important clone in all of Star Wars, behind Captain Rex, in my personal opinion. And Rex in Rebels is waking up from nightmares screaming, Cody, no, whatever, like... something happens to Cody. He obviously dies at some point, and they're not just going to have him not be an important death. So I believe that Tech and Cody are at the top of the list of possibilities for this clone assassin, but coming in really, really fast is the option of nobody, because the clone assassin wasn't in this last episode, because he's kind of become a less important character in this 3rd season. But the argument against it being nobody is Dr. Hemlock. Dr. Hemlock wasn't in this last episode either. We spent almost the entire episode, or at least half of the episode, on Mount Tantiss, and Hemlock wasn't even in the episode. Which is crazy because we still need to learn a lot about Dr. Hemlock before this show ends. Now, maybe if there's an hour and 10-minute episode in the finale, then we have enough time to explain that. But Dr. Hemlock not being in the last episode does give me a little bit of hope that this clone assassin still could be someone special. Yeah. But what do we think? What do we think? And very, very generous Officer Murdoch. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Oh yeah, Officer Murdoch, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. I appreciate that quite a bit at the Padawan level. I appreciate that. All right, let me scroll back up here, see what you guys were saying. Okay, let's see. Oh shit, where was it? Oh yeah. So Commander Cody, Tech, Cody, nobody, Cody, Tech. It's Marok. Interesting. I think it's Commander Cody, either Cody or no one, or just a brainwashed reg. Interesting. The clone assassin is Dave from Philly. What? Another Marok? It could be. Chris says, I think it may be either another clone of Crosshair or a tortured and brainwashed Commander Cody. Yeah, I think it's probably a clone, a brainwashed Commander Cody as well. But the clone of Crosshair is an interesting one to me because I don't think they had nearly enough time to clone Crosshair. That just doesn't seem likely at all. But if they were to have taken Crosshair's blood from like season 1 and then start to try to make him a clone, then it could have been possible. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Rose says, Tech is still marinating in one of Hemlock's shadow clone tanks. So you think Tech will be revealed as a different clone assassin later on? Maybe. Maybe. Unless it's Moff Gideon's? Oh no. My clones! I doubt it. Moff Gideon's probably too young at this time, and he wouldn't be a clone assassin, I don't think. Catherine says, how about the Inquisitors show up instead of Vader? Interesting. By the way, only 61% of you say no, which means that 39% of you say yes, you do think that Vader will show up. But what if the Inquisitors show up over Vader? That's a possibility. But my thing with Vader showing up over the Inquisitors is if Mount Tantiss is as important as Palpatine says it is, then it's likely that he'll send Vader over the Inquisitors. Because if it's the most important thing to securing the future of the entire Empire, then he'll send his most valuable asset, and that is Vader. He might even send himself, but that'll become a bigger issue. This is the way says the remaining clones will be clone assassins will be activated, almost guaranteed. I agree. I think the remaining clone assassins will be activated and will sort of play a big role. Mando United says it was a droid prototype like the forerunner of the Dark Troopers. No, I think the clone assassin definitely has to be a person. I mean, just by the sound of his voice, it sounds like a person. Eventually, the clone assassins or the Dark Troopers become droids, as we see in The Mandalorian Season 2, but they originally start off with a human underneath the mask. The Phase Zero Dark Trooper armor has a person under that armor. Yeah. Dr. Hemlock says, it's Tech. Clone assassin number CX2 is Tech's number clone, CT9902. They both have a 2. Coincidence? Interesting. The 2. I've also seen the 2 be put into the clone of Crosshair theory as well. Because why is this clone assassin named CX2 when he's the 3rd clone assassin that we've seen? Wouldn't it be CX3? So maybe it's a clone of Cody, clone of Crosshair, because then it would be Crosshair clone 2. But I never thought about that. Tech's clone number is 9902. Interesting. You Will Try says, I think Vader will show up and kill Hemlock for failing, in my opinion. Tarkin said that he's failed again and he will be killed. I think Tarkin will send pretty much Vader. So you think Tarkin's going to be the one who sends Vader? Interesting. I don't think Vader's really working for Tarkin at this point. Vader has sort of a hatred for Tarkin. Interesting. This poll has just slowly and slowly and slowly gone further and further towards Vader will show up. Like everybody who votes is saying yes now. Because now it's down to 60-40. It started at 80-20. And now we're at 60-40. We'll see if it just keeps on going. Brandon says, I think it will be Commander Cody. I think it still will be Commander Cody, but I am losing hope. Yeah. It's a tech clone? I don't know about that one. I think it's a clone with Tech and Crosshair's abilities. Okay, so I've heard this one too, The World Rocks. I've heard this theory before. It's possible that it's just a clone, a regular clone, that has the abilities of all the other Bad Batch members, from Crosshair to Tech to Hunter to Wrecker, all of them. And as much as that would be very, very cool, it doesn't really make sense. We haven't seen this clone assassin have the strength of Wrecker. And we haven't really seen him, other than hit some pretty close shots like Crosshair can do. We haven't really seen him use any of the other Bad Batch abilities. You can't teach those shooting skills. It has to be Tech, in my opinion. The writers have to make this happen and have Fee turn him back into a good guy. Interesting. So Fee shows up as a part of the cavalry and actually ends up turning this clone assassin because it ends up being Tech. That will be pretty interesting. Yeah, because my biggest gripe with this is, if it is Tech, why? Why turn Tech into an evil clone if you don't have enough time to redeem him? But then again, if you have an hour and a half long finale, then you might have enough time. It's Maul? Oh no. Brandon Tram, what's up? Brandon says, Clone Assassin X3 being a nobody wouldn't be surprising, but I don't think it makes sense to have it be Cody because he wanted to leave the Empire. That's true, but the Empire wouldn't just let him leave. All the other clones that were trying to leave the Empire at the time of when Cody was leaving were all being sent to Mount Tantiss to have experiments run on them. So it makes sense that Cody would be sent there as well. Yeah. Coca? Sure. Coca says, it's most likely will be a disfigured clone or someone terrifying when they unmask it, so it'll be shocking. Well, no, because we've unmasked 2 clone assassins already, and they've just been regular clones. Yeah. Hebe King says, the clone assassin on the picture is not CX2? What? You're saying this one? Oh, I get you, because, yeah, that was the other one from before. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. This is CX2. That's what you mean. I get you. I get you. Tech's not the only person to say domicile. Who else did? From what I haven't found anybody else who did. It's Jango Fett's clone. Well, yeah, obviously. Tech was a great marksman. Have to admit it. Was he though? I feel like he's more of the brains of the operation, you know? Brandon says, could Ventress and Commander Wolf return in the finale? I think so. I think both of them actually have the chance to. Ventress probably just in the final scenes, maybe taking Omega away. But Wolf might actually be involved in this final battle. Because Wolf is still with the Empire as far as we know. But the last time we saw him, he was kind of like turning the screws, at least in his head, as Rex convinced him to let them go. And he did let them go. Yeah. The clone assassin is a marksman, like Crosshair. This is why I think it's a clone of Crosshair. Yeah, well, true, but I guess you could teach somebody to be a good marksman, no? Jacob says, I think you've convinced me more of it being Cody. The focus on Cody in season 2, episode 4, was his connection with Crosshair, and it's not a coincidence that Crosshair was the one who fought him in the waterfall. Exactly. I think there's a reason that we got to see Cody in season 2. And it's not just because they wanted to tell us where Cody's at. Because there was one episode. That's it. He was only in one, and at the end of the episode, he went AWOL. They're not just going to never show Cody again. That's not how it works. He's one of the most important clones of all time. The amount of endings we've seen for very irrelevant clones like Fireball, like Nemec, like, not to call Clone 99 irrelevant, but less important clones, we'll put it that way. The amount of time we've spent watching these clones get very important deaths, you're going to tell me that Commander Cody's isn't going to be way more important? They're not just going to have him show up in one episode of The Bad Batch and never show him again. So it would make sense that he's either the clone assassin or he's going to show up in the finale with Rex. And I think the clone assassin is the more likely of the two. Yeah. Anthony, what's up? Says, hi, Mike. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it. Had to go get pizza for lunch. Ooh, that sounds bomb. Had to walk 18 blocks for it. That sounds less bomb. I actually had pizza right before the stream started, too. So nice. Okay. He says, I've been listening to the discussion for about 15 minutes, and all I have to say is the clone assassin is tech. I can't wait to find out, because even if it is nobody, it's going to be shocking. Whoever gets revealed to be under that mask, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be like a holy shit. Really? Regardless of who it is. If it's tech, if it's Cody, if it's nobody, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be quite the reveal. Can I get some good cups for all orders in the chat, please? Bum-ba. We got, what, 57 people here right now? Can I get 57 different good cups for all orders? Damn, that's good water. Or is it water? Braden says, if Cody doesn't return, then he will be allowed to be in Tales of the Clones spinoff. I don't think there's going to be a Tales of the Clones. I don't think so. It's like Scorch. Both the Assassin and Scorch will never know who they are. Interesting. What's up, Tony? Well, we know who Scorch is. Like, Scorch is Scorch, you know? We don't know his identity, but his name is Scorch. We don't know the name of the clone assassin. That's kind of the difference there. Yeah. Kay says, clone assassin is named Rick, and we'll all get rolled.
I got a bad feeling about this.
The World Rock says, it's clone... What? My chair is squeaking and I don't like it. It's clone with double Bad Batch abilities, tech and crosshair. I'm telling you, I like the theory. I do like the theory, but we'll have to wait and see. We shall have to wait and see. People thinking that the clone assassin is somebody important? So funny. I know. It will be pretty funny if it's just nobody. Honestly, if it's revealed to be nobody, it might be quite a good laugh. Yeah. Lee, what's up, says, it's a combination of some of the Bad Batch traits. So it could be Crosshair, Tech, and Cody. Cody's not a Bad Batch member, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It could be a combination of all the Bad Batch's abilities. Interesting. Fearless says, no Vader and no Inquisitors. Interesting. Interesting. Here's the issue. If Vader doesn't show up, if Palpatine doesn't show up, then what is the main sort of conflict in the end? Yes, there's a lot of stormtroopers on Mount Tantiss, but we don't want to just see some stormtroopers go down. Season 2 had Tarkin, had Krennic, the finale, I'm saying. Had Krennic, had Tarkin, had Hemlock. Season 1 even had the destruction of Tapoka City. There has to be some major ending here. And obviously, the major ending is probably going to be the ending of a lot of these characters that we know and love. Freaking thing is on. Get away. Go away. Go away. But I feel like a massive entrance of a villain is necessary. Maybe it's Vader. Maybe it's Palpatine. Maybe it's Hemlock using his gas or using the tentacle creature thing that we saw in episode 2. But I don't know. Guess we'll have to see. Guess we'll have to see. I still want to know what's in the other mountain. Me too. Yeah, so if you guys don't know what we're talking about here, there's 2 mountains. And let's just look this up. Mount Tantiss Bad Batch. So when you look at Mount Tantiss, when you look at the Tantis of mountains, there's two. There's two. So you got this one. This is where Omega is. This is where Project Necromancer is. This is where the vault is. But if you look over here, there's another mountain. What? There's another mountain. What's that about? What's in the other mountain? You know? That's what I want to know. What's in the other mountain? Mountain 2 is where the Zillo Beast is. Mountain 2 is the Zillo Beast's crib. Maybe. Maybe it's a prison for the Zillo Beast. Maybe. Palpatine will show up. Interesting. Do you think this ending for the Bad Batch will give some insight into Andor/Rogue One? Well, maybe it'll be like a start of a rebellion, but I don't think it will be directly connected, no. Yeah. Palpatine likes twins. That's why there's a second mountain. Interesting. They're cloning the Zillo Beast in the other one. Interesting. Interesting. What's in the other mountain? Yeah. I'd love for Omega to meet Palpatine. Ooh, interesting. Ian, what is up? Let's pull this up. As you guys talk about what the hell's in that other mountain, because please tell me, I have no idea. Let's end this. Oh, wait, wow. This poll is really coming around. We're now down to 58% of you, meaning 42% of you think that Vader will be in this episode. I mean, be in the finale. Interesting. No worries, Ian. I appreciate it. You just dropped a very good chat, so I don't really care. All right, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Christoph, what's up? Don't worry about it. Glad you're here. All right, let's pull this up. Do you think Palpatine will be in the finale? And we've talked about this a little bit, but we're going to talk about this a lot today. If Palpatine shows up, it changes everything. Literally everything. For Omega's story, for the Bad Batch's sort of destiny, it changes everything. So if you guys actually think, by the way, right off the bat, the poll is already up to 80% of you guys thinking that he will show up. Palpatine will show up by the end of this show, which is very interesting to me for two reasons. One, it changes Omega's outcome. Omega, I thought, was going to go off with Asajj Ventress, and she was going to have the next animated show where we'd see Asajj and Omega. Omega would be learning how to wield the Force, maybe get to see some cool lightsaber duels, go on some adventures, maybe meet Boba Fett, maybe see some underworld stuff, maybe see the hidden path, the Jedi hidden path stuff. But if Palpatine shows up, that changes everything. Because then Palpatine will know how important Omega is to his cloning efforts. He will know that Omega is the key to everything. Because right now she is. She's the missing puzzle piece that they've needed for this Project Necromancer. So if Palpatine knows that, there is no place in the galaxy that she can hide where they won't find her. He will send everybody, Inquisitors, Vader, bounty hunters, everybody will be after Omega. Now maybe, just maybe, that will make for an incredible animated show with Asajj Ventress and Omega running from Inquisitors, running from Vader, running from bounty hunters, and all this stuff. That would be amazing. Or it could lead to Omega dying. Not many people have been talking about this as a real, actual thing that could happen. Omega doesn't have to survive this finale. She doesn't have to go on and live a happy life. That's not something that has to happen. And yes, many of you would probably agree with what I'm about to say here, and that is they probably won't want to kill off this brand new kid character that they just took 3 seasons developing. But what if they did? What if they were just so crazy that they killed off Omega? Because if Palpatine knows how important she is, she will never stop being hunted down for the rest of her life. So what if the roles are reversed? The Bad Batch don't save her. She saves them. She saves the clones, the regular clones. She saves the Bad Batch themselves. They could fake her death. That's Skywalker Academy. That's a good point. They could fake her death in the destruction of Tantis. Like Tantis blows up. They think that Omega was in there too. Interesting. What if this show ends, and this will be extremely dark, what if this show ends with Palpatine taking Omega to Exegol? What if it's like the worst ending ever? Not like the worst ending ever, but a very sad ending. It would be a good ending, but it would be a sad one, you know? What if all the Bad Batch die? Hunter, Crosshair, Wrecker, all dead. Maybe even Echo too. They all die. And Omega doesn't survive. Well, Omega survives, but she doesn't get freed. Tantis blows up, and Palpatine takes Omega to Exegol. Takes her to Exegol, and that's how we get the clone of Palpatine that we see in the sequel trilogy. That's how we get Snoke. That's how we get everything. Is Omega. Omega is taken to Exegol. What do we think? Sounds amazing? I don't know about that. Sounds pretty sad to me, but it does sound like a cool ending. It does sound like a cool ending. Chris says, well, nobody dies in Star Wars. That's not true. Tech died last season. That wasn't that long ago. Paz Vizsla died last year too. Yeah. Morgan Elsbeth died last year too. What do we think? Fearless says, Mike, I told you weeks ago, Omega makes a sacrifice to save the clones. But what if she doesn't? What if she gets captured by Palpatine and taken to Exegol? I think this show is going to end with a scene of Palpatine arriving on Exegol. Maybe it's not the final scene of the show, as maybe there's another scene with Omega and Ventress, or maybe another scene that sets up the next animated show with Rex and a clone rebellion or something like that. But I do believe that one of the final scenes in that finale will have Palpatine on Exegol, as he says, like, something along the lines of, that galaxy's not safe enough. Tantis was exploded. Like, there's no place we can hide in the galaxy that they won't find us. So we got to go to Exegol, which is a hidden Sith planet. Ian says, I remember saying that he'd take Omega to Exegol as a wild prediction near the start of the season. Exactly. And that's why wild predictions are actually something that could happen. Tom, what is up? How we doing? Christoph says, Star Wars shouldn't be just child play, but more adults too. Well, yeah, it's not made for children. Let's be honest, guys. People's heads are getting chopped off in Star Wars. People are dying all over the place. It's way too sad, I think, for a kid. If I had a kid, I would not be showing them The Bad Batch. I'd probably show them, like, Young Jedi Adventures, because that's actually a kid's show. But, yeah. Anthony says, Mike, it would be a hell of a twist if Omega died. It would certainly be dark. That would kill the whole kids show thing. Yeah, for sure. And now, wait, and you know Exegol and Omega? No. I know, Anthony, you're not a fan. But regardless, Exegol and the sequel trilogy is what we eventually lead into. So, yeah. Martha, what's up? Stingray Z, what's up, says, I feel that Omega might realize just how important that she is and might try to unalive herself because of it. I think so too. I think Omega's not dumb. She realizes how important she is. So she might actually make the sacrifice play. That would be wild. That would be pretty wild. General Grievous, what's up? Sky Z says, I think Echo will be killed off or captured along with the rest of the Bad Batch because they would be with Wolf and Gregor and Rex in Rebels. Yes and no. There's still a lot of time before Rebels happens. Like, Rebels takes place only a few years before the original trilogy. That's still like 15 to 18 years away. So a lot can happen in between those years. Yeah. I have here something for you. A new stupid Snoke theory. Great. Rose says, If Omega is taken by Palpatine, then it makes for another good show involving Ventress and Voss trying to find Exegol and rescue Omega. That would be pretty cool, but I honestly think it would be way cooler if it was Omega and Ventress running from the Empire. It would cause for a lot of action-packed lightsaber duels between Ventress and the Inquisitors, Omega and the Inquisitors, maybe even drag in Vader. Although we do get a lot of Inquisitors in Star Wars Rebels, we get a lot of Inquisitors in Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. The Inquisitors are really at their peak in the time right after the Bad Batch. That's when they're going around hunting down the Jedi who survived Order 66 with Vader. So that would kind of be the peak time for the Inquisitors, and we don't really have any content that takes place in that time period. So if we were to get a show that is Omega and Ventress running from the Empire, and Inquisitors are tracking them down, we could get to see Barriss Offee versus Asajj Ventress. Barriss as an Inquisitor, as we're going to learn in Tales of the Empire, obviously. And there's a few Inquisitors that don't live to Rebels. Obviously, we know the Grand Inquisitor does. We know at least the Eighth Brother does, and a few others. But we know that some of them don't live, and one of them is Barriss Offee. We don't know what happens to Barriss Offee, but we do know that it's likely that she's going to get killed off in some sort of way. It would be cool to see a show where Omega... Let me ask you guys. Give me a 1 into the chat if you like this idea. Give me a 2 if you're like, no, this is a stupid idea. A show that's Omega being trained by Asajj Ventress in the ways of the Force while they are being tracked down, hunted down by the Inquisitors, Vader, and the Empire, because Omega is the most important thing to Palpatine's cloning efforts. Give me a 1 if you think that's an incredible idea. Give me a 2 if you're like, no, that sucks. What do we think? Fearless, you think that sucks? Just kidding. All right, I see a bunch of 1s. I think that would be an incredible show. I would watch the hell out of that show. Absolutely. Sounds incredible to me. Tom says, 1, I just want the Bad Batch to continue. Sadly, this is going to be the final season of the Bad Batch. Obviously, there is no 4th season. But it would be a continuation of the story. It would be a continuation, at least, of Omega's story. Yeah. And even if, like, Echo survives, then Echo could come in here and there in the story. Yeah. I think it's close, but Omega? What? I think it's a good idea. Me too. Me too. All right, we got a few 2s, but mostly 1s, I think. Oh, you think Omega's going to fake her death? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Tom says, how long do you think the finale is going to be? Well, we talked about this a little bit. One of the producers and actually the director of cinematography for The Bad Batch has tweeted out a tease that it might be an hour and 10 minutes, Tom. Hour and 10 minutes, which would be insane. But hopefully it's an hour and 10 minutes. Anything like close to an hour or over an hour, I'll be satisfied with. Anything under, I'll be a little bit like, come on, it's the finale of the entire show. Let's give us a long episode. And if it's like 22 minutes, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to start breaking some shit. I'm going to literally take Chopper and throw him across the room, and then I'm going to punch my TV, and I'm going to, no! No! You can't do this to me! You can't do this to me!
This is where the fun begins.
Maria says, does Grand Admiral Thrawn know about the mountains in this era? Does he know about Mount Tantiss? Well, in Legends, he does. And if we're going to see Thrawn go to Mount Tantiss in live action, in the Mandoverse, which would be so damn cool, I think, then I would love to see him show up in animation first and actually show us that he knows where this base is. I think that would be cool. Yeah. There's 4 mountains? What are we talking about here? There's 4 mountains, but only 2 of them are actually like facilities, right? What are you guys talking about? There's 4 mountains? Yes, there are 4 mountains in the range, but they're not 4 bases. You know? Like, these are bases. You can tell by they're being carved out in there and there. These mountains behind them don't have bases on them. And when we see, like, let's take a second. Let's take a second to appreciate how freaking incredible the cinematography of this Bad Batch show has been. Okay? Let's take a moment to appreciate this. They really didn't have to do this. They didn't have to do this at all. And yet they did. They were like, let's just make the coolest shot in all of Star Wars be in animation. This is so sick. This is obviously a mountain, but you're looking at it from the top, so it just looks like a circle. And then the very next scene is this. The prison inside with Omega there, Eva there, Jax there, Sammy there, and the baby Baron or whatever his name is over here with the droid taking their vitals. They really didn't have to go this hard. This was like the coolest shot that we've seen in a long time from Star Wars, and it's from an animated show. They did not have to go this hard. They really didn't. And it's so damn cool. So damn cool. But yes, going back to the mountains, I only see 2 mountains here, but again, that does not explain what's going on in this second mountain at all. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, 59% of you guys think that we will see Palpatine in this finale, which is actually shocking to me because I did not think that many of you would think that. Maybe Mountain 1 is offices and Mountain 2 is lab. Maybe. Maybe Marok will come from Ahsoka into the Bad Batch finale to help stop the invasion. I hope not. Maybe some Inquisitors, but Marok, I would hope not. I would say no. All right, now let's talk about the reason that you're all here. The reason that you all clicked on the stream, let's be honest. A reunion between Captain Rex and Vader. So we've talked about whether you guys think that Vader will show up, whether you guys think that Palpatine will show up, whether you guys think that Rex will show up with the other clones. And it seems like the majority of you do think that Rex will show up. Now, if Vader shows up, then we could be getting 2 reunions. One with Vader and Rex, and the other one, if Asajj Ventress also shows up, would be Asajj Ventress and Anakin or Vader. Now, honestly, both characters, Asajj Ventress and Rex, would not recognize Vader. They would not recognize Anakin as Vader, I should say. But Anakin would. And we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the near future with Barriss Offee in Tales of the Empire, because Barriss is the one who led to Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. And we know that Vader is going to be training the Inquisitors in Tales of the Empire. And we saw the scene from the trailer where Barriss... Let me pull up that trailer, because that trailer is so good. Let's just pull up the trailer. Let's pull it up. Tales of the Empire. Here we go. Tales of the Empire. Wait, what the hell is this? Tales of the Empire. Okay. Tales of the Empire. Let's look at this. Oops. We've seen this trailer. We've watched this trailer a million times. It's incredible. It's absolutely fantastic. But let's go to the good part here at the end.
Your new master.
So there's Barriss Offee and Vader walking right by her. So we know that Anakin is going to immediately recognize, what's up, Kid Fisto? Is immediately going to recognize that this is the girl who framed Ahsoka and made her leave. Pretty much the reason that Anakin turns to the dark side. He might actually blame all of it on Barriss in this scene and kill her immediately, but he might also just torture her. Who knows? But the same way that Anakin is going to recognize Barriss, and this is not going to be a happy ending for Barriss Offee, I think a very similar thing will happen if in this Bad Batch Season 3, Rex comes into contact with Vader. Anakin, under the mask, will recognize that that is Captain Rex, the guy who worked under him for the entire Clone Wars. But Rex won't recognize that it's Anakin. So how Anakin reacts or how Vader reacts is going to be pretty damn cool, I think, personally. So I can't wait. But do you guys think that we could eventually, maybe even if it's not in this Bad Batch Season 3, do you think it's possible that we could finally get to see Vader and Rex come face to face on screen? Maybe in animation, maybe in live action, most likely in animation. What do we think? What do we think? Let me catch up on some chats here. Chris says, I believe that Barriss is going to die and tells the Empire at the hands of Vader. Me too. So wouldn't a very similar thing happen if you were to meet Asajj Ventress or even Captain Rex? Now, would Anakin want to kill Rex? Or would he kind of revert back to Anakin if he saw Rex? I think if he saw Asajj Ventress, he might kind of just like try to kill her, but yeah. This is the way says, can a Jedi have a bow and arrow style lightsaber? That would be cool for Omega. That would be cool. Actually, I don't think they can because that doesn't really make sense. What would they be doing? Shooting lightsaber bolts? That would be pretty cool. I think Omega, if she does become a Force user and creates a lightsaber, her lightsaber might be pretty damn cool. If she does have the ability to do that, that would be awesome. Yeah. Sky Z says, bro would have a Kylo Ren moment. You mean like where he just starts like slicing, like just going crazy? Maybe. If you saw Rex, you think that's what would happen? Oh, you're talking about me having a Kylo Ren moment? Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah.
This is where the fun begins.
Probably. Reva and wait, no. Revand, maybe? Says, listen up. Who is the soul of the Bad Batch? Omega. If Omega lives, the Bad Batch wouldn't die, and it wouldn't make sense for no more seasons. She must die. Yes and no. Omega's not. She is a member of the Bad Batch, obviously, but when the Bad Batch are first introduced in Clone Wars Season 7, she's not a member of the Bad Batch. So I think this might be the end of the Bad Batch themselves, but the original Bad Batch. Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker. Even Echo wasn't an original member. So I think those three will most likely die, and Omega will go on to do her own show or have her own spin-off show. I think that's probably the most likely scenario. Dr. Brenner says, Crosshair may be toast, but at least he was looked at right? What? Oh, you mean like he redeemed himself, you're saying? Yeah, I think Crosshair's going to die, but at least he went on this redemption arc. For sure. Damn it, just scroll down to the bottom. Martha says, I hope that they make a Bad Batch movie like they did with the Clone Wars movie to tie everything together with the Bad Batch character stories. I don't think it'll be a movie, but I think the finale will be like an hour and a half, so it'll be close to the same length as a movie, if that helps. Yeah. Stingray says, they literally cooked with that. Yeah. I think Tales of the Empire is going to be absolutely insane, so I can't wait. Palpatine likes things in pairs, twins. The Death Star having 1 and 2, Mount Tantiss having 1 and 2. I'm telling you, maybe he likes just having 2 of things. Why not have 2 when you can have, or why have 1 when you can have 2? Yeah. Ian says, it's like Isla Nubar and Isla Sonar. The mountains are shown. One mountain is for show and one is for cloning monsters. What? I don't know what that means, but yes. Rex knows that Anakin is Vader. No, he doesn't. Well, he does. He finds out in Rebels. Yes, you're right, because Ahsoka knows in Rebels. So Ahsoka tells him in Rebels, but that's not for another 15 years. That's not for a long time. So Rex could come into contact with Vader and not know who it is. But Anakin would know. Anakin under the mask would know who Rex is. Yeah. Link uploaded in the Discord to what? Link to what? 3 Mount Tantisses? Oh, I get you. Guys, if you are not in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a free Discord. Go join it. It's a lot of fun, people. Go join it. And if you're not a member yet, come join the people who love Star Wars. Come on. Let's be real. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Come on. Come on. Sky Z says, the issue is I have is why Tarkin didn't know about Tantis. Well, Tarkin is a high-ranking member of the Empire, but so was Rampart. Rampart was the vice admiral. He was the vice admiral of the Empire, and he didn't even know where Tantis was. The reason for that is Palpatine's trying to keep it a secret. Yes, Project Necromancer is the most important thing to him and to securing the future of the Empire, but because it's so important, he has to make sure that very little people know about its location, and very people know how to find it so that very, very little people can get to it, to say the least. So that's why Tarkin doesn't know where it is. That's why Rampart didn't know where it was when he was Vice Admiral. That's kind of the secret of the sauce. Yeah. Chris says, I think that Barriss Offee will die and tells the Empire because Vader will recognize her and will kill her. I agree. I think he might like torture her or mess with her or whatever, but I think she will eventually die, yeah. Mike, do you think Crosshair is toast because he was being looked at? What do you mean he's being looked at? I don't know what that means. This is the way says, what do you... Oh, just go down to the bottom. Oh, what do you think would be a line that Vader would say that would tip Rex off that he is Anakin? Well, I think Vader would be pretty shocked when he sees Rex for the first time. So maybe whatever he says could tip him off. I don't think there will be a line that tips him off, though. I don't think Rex is supposed to know until Rebels, so I don't think he'll figure it out. If they do come face to face, if this reunion does happen, I don't think Rex will figure it out. But we'll know that Vader knows. We will know. Yeah. Brandon says, it's possible, Mike. It is possible. It is possible that Rex and Vader could show up and have a reunion. I agree. Chris says, I don't think that he would kill Rex. Well, he can't kill Rex because we know Rex survives till Rebels. So it would have to be some sort of weird meeting where he doesn't have the ability to kill Rex. Yeah. He would probably wonder how Rex is still alive, since in the last season of the Clone Wars, Vader saw the wreckage of Ahsoka's ship and Rex was with her. That's true, but Rex's helmet wasn't there. Interesting. So let's ask the class. Do you guys think that Vader thinks that Rex is dead? I mean, he must, right? Because he doesn't hunt him down. Does he think that Rex died in that crash where Ahsoka was? And did he think that Ahsoka died in that crash too, actually? Because he found the lightsabers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Ahsoka was dead there. Do we think that Vader thought that they were both dead? Interesting. I never thought about that. Because he goes to the crashed ship at the end of Season 7, the last scene of Season 7. He picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber. Does he think that Ahsoka died there and her lightsabers are just there? Or is that more symbolic of her leaving the lightsabers behind because Anakin was the one who gave them to her? You guys are saying yes and no. Interesting. Interesting. Stingray says, I wonder if Omega knows... Wait, what? Oh, Omega's bow being pink and then turning green in Season 3 hints that Omega will have a green lightsaber. No, it's a different bow entirely. It's like a crossbow now instead of the actual bow. But maybe. That'd be cool. I'd love to see Omega customize her own lightsaber. That would be pretty cool. This is the way says, Mike, Chris makes a good point. If Vader finds out that Rex is alive, then he might know or might think that Ahsoka is alive. This may be a huge factor for them not facing each other. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But I don't think he thought that Rex was dead. Like, Rex's helmet's not there. Everybody else's helmet that was on board was there, but not his. Interesting. Pam, what's up? All right, let's see. Where was I? Christoph says, I'm so glad I'm not the only one whose chat chat comments because such. What do you mean? Cause such. What do you mean? Responses. Well, sometimes either the way you guys phrase it, or I'm just very far behind in the chat. And when I read your chat, I'm like, what is that referring to? Because we've been talking about so many different things, from Vader to Omega to Palpatine to Rex to all these different characters. If you guys say something like, yes, I do think so, or something, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. And that's on me because I can't read the chat that fast. But just try to be more specific with your chats. It would help greatly. Yeah. Tony says, I dropped a picture and a video explaining the 3 mountains on Mount Tantiss. Should we watch it? Shall we watch it? Chris says, I don't remember Ahsoka telling Rex that Vader was Anakin in Rebels anyway. I don't think it was on screen, but she definitely had that conversation with Rex. Because Ahsoka finds out that it is Anakin under the mask. She would tell Rex. She would definitely tell Rex. Yeah. Stingray says, will you be uploading this stream to your YouTube as a video? Yes. All the streams get uploaded afterwards as videos, so you can rewatch them on the playback or whatever. If you can't catch the streams, anything. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if you can't catch the streams, you can watch them on the playback. Obviously, we do normal videos and shorts and everything on the channel as well. Appreciate it. Christoph says, do you think that we will get a Rampart versus Hemlock duel? No, I don't think the two of them have much to do with each other. They didn't really have any conflict in the first 2 seasons, so I doubt it. However, I think Hemlock will have quite the finale here. Rampart is an interesting one. Do you guys think Rampart will survive the finale? Let me rephrase it, and let me actually pull this up, because this poll's not moving. Let me pull this one up. Do you guys think Palpatine will be in the finale? 58% of you say yes. 41% say no. Do you trust Rampart? Yes or no? Do you trust Rampart? Do you think he won't turn on the Bad Batch? Or do you think he's going to turn on the Bad Batch and cause for them to be taken in by the Empire? Do you trust him? Do you trust Rampart? Now, here's my thing. I don't trust Rampart right now, but this it all depends on how next episode goes. Going into the finale, it all depends on what happens in this next penultimate episode. For now, I think that Rampart can be trusted. I think Rampart would be stupid if he thinks that the Empire is going to take him back. So I think to an extent, Rampart can be trusted because of that. But he's just always been a slimy little loser that that he would probably turn on the Bad Batch if he had the chance. But tell me what you guys think. Do you trust Rampart? Do you think Rampart will do the right thing? And if so, how is his story going to end? If he does continue to work with the Bad Batch, help the Bad Batch through the finale, is he just going to die on Tantis? Or is he going to go on and maybe join the rebellion? Or maybe go on to just do whatever? He killed clones once. That's true. He was a villain for a long, long time. I don't know. I think he was just following orders to destroy Camino. Yes and no. He was following orders to destroy Camino, but he did that on his own doing. Like, it was kind of his orders to destroy Camino. Rampart hates clones. Yes. So you think he'll turn on them? Interesting. But do you think he'll die by the finale then? If he turns on them and tries to go back with the Empire, I don't think the Empire is going to take him back. I don't think that's how this whole thing works. I think he's going to be on his own. Interesting. Chris says, I think Rampart will try to betray the Bad Batch, but Crosshair intervenes and kills him. That would be pretty cool. Because Crosshair would be the one who we would all want to see kill Rampart, because he's the one who holds the most sort of vengeance against him because of all the stuff that he did to Crosshair specifically. Crosshair would be the most meaningful to kill Rampart. Christoph says, good, I'm not the only one who trusts him. Yeah, I think he probably will do the right thing in these next 2 episodes, but I wouldn't be surprised, to say the least, if he turned on the Bad Batch. I'll trust Rampart to do what's in his best interest. Yeah, but his best interest right now is just to continue to allow the Bad Batch to kind of do their own thing. Sky Z says, I'm not going to vote on that poll as I am in the middle because his attitude keeps shifting in the last episode. Yes and no. Obviously, he had plenty of an opportunity to turn the Bad Batch in the last episode. They were on an Imperial facility right outside of Coruscant. He could have easily just said, that's the guys you're looking for. This is the Bad Batch. Turn them in. Simple, easy, done. But he didn't. Interesting. Rampart wants to be safe. The Empire would return him to a prison. Yeah, he wants to be free. So I don't think he wants to go back to prison. That's why I don't think he will turn on the Bad Batch. Anthony says, yes, I think Rampart will survive and become an interesting character going forward. He may not become a rebel per se, but he may carve out his own place in the galaxy under the radar. I trust him. Interesting. I think so too. I think he just wants to be free. I don't know if he'll be involved in any sort of rebellion after this show, but I think he wants to be free. Yeah. Rose says Rampart will try to betray the Bad Batch, and he gets taken down in the act. Interesting. But wouldn't you think that he would have already done it? He already tried, or he could have already tried, I mean. In the last episode, he had plenty of an opportunity to do so. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Chris says, I think we saw foreshadowing scenes and comments that he made in the last episode that he may betray the Bad Batch. But again, wouldn't he have already done it? They were on the Imperial base, right outside the Imperial main planet of Coruscant. Wouldn't he have already tried? What's the point of him going to Tantis? You know? Rampart hates clones. Yes, he does. Agent Callus was a better candidate for a redemption after we saw the episode with Zeb in that cave. True. Callus got the redemption arc in Star Wars Rebels. The Bad Batch only has 2 episodes left, so does Rampart have enough time to go on that same redemption arc? I don't know. Dr. Hemlock says, Rampart will sacrifice himself to save the Force-sensitive children. That could be a possibility too. Maybe to prove his loyalty to the Bad Batch and prove his loyalty that he's not a bad guy anymore because he's done so many terrible things. He'll sacrifice himself to save Omega and the Force-sensitive kids and everybody else. That's a possibility. Off topic, but imagine an animated series held after Return of the Jedi about the Imperial remnants. That would be pretty cool. I think there's a huge chance that we could be getting a Clone Wars style animated show in that time period, in between episode 6 and episode 7, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It might be like a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, but I wouldn't mind an Imperial Remnant show. That'd be pretty cool. From the eyes and ears of the bad guys, that'd be pretty cool. Fearless says, maybe they set Rampart free in the jungles of Tantis so that he gets eaten by one of the monsters. That could be a possibility. Starship says, I didn't trust Rampart, but the enemy of Rampart's enemy will be who he works with. The enemy of Rampart's enemy. Yes, okay, I got you. Yeah. He will want to leave when it's all done. Bottom line is Rampart is for Rampart. Yeah, I agree. Lee says Rampart can't go back to the Emperor. Because the Emperor almost personally threw him under the bus. I think Rampart wants revenge. So you think Rampart wants revenge on the Empire? That might come into play. Yeah. I want animated Luke. Me too. Imagine how cool it would be to get all of those original cast. Lando, Han, Leia, Luke, a young Ben Solo, all in animation. That would be awesome. Yeah. So if the next animated show is not about a clone rebellion or Omega and Ventress, I say Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show. Yeah. That's what I say. All right, let's take a look at this. We got 2 other pieces of news that are not related to the Bad Batch here. One has to do with Andor Season 2, and one has to do with Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah. So let's do the Star Wars Outlaws one first because it's very quick and just very bad newsy, to say the least. So let's talk about this, and then we'll come back to the Bad Batch, obviously, after to end off the stream. So let's talk about this here. Ubisoft responds to Star Wars Outlaws Season Pass backlash, insisting that Jabba the Hutt is part of the experience for all players. So there was a report that came out a few days ago that Star Wars Outlaws, you would have to buy the Battle Pass to do the missions with Jabba the Hutt. And this would have been a disaster. Do you guys remember? Give me a 1 into the chat if you remember this. When Battlefront 2 was first released, the latest Battlefront 2, and EA had pretty much everything under a paywall. You had to play like 1 million hours to unlock Luke Skywalker, or you could pay for him under a paywall. Give me 1 into the chat if you remember that. That was insane. Now, since then, Battlefront 2 has changed drastically, and it's actually a really good game, and you don't have to pay for any of the characters like that. It's not that extreme. But now Star Wars Outlaws almost went down a very similar path before it was even released. Now, Star Wars Outlaws doesn't come out until August 30th, so it's still a pretty far ways away. But there was a report that said that you would have to buy the season pass to do the Jabba the Hutt missions. But now they're saying that's not the case. So Ubisoft has responded to the ongoing backlash against Star Wars Outlaws Season Pass, insisting that Jabba the Hutt is a part of the experience for all players. The publisher has come under fire after locking the Jabba the Hutt Gambit mission behind Star Wars Outlaws' controversial Season Pass, which comes with the $110 Golden Edition, and even more expensive $130 Ultimate Edition. It's crazy how expensive video games are now. Absolutely wild. Regardless, this says, quote, play the exclusive Jabba's Gambit mission at launch, the Season Pass explainer reads. Just as Kay is putting together a crew for the Canto Bight heist, Canto Bight heist sounds so cool. Canto Bight heist, she receives a job from Jabba the Hutt himself. Turns out that ND5 owes Jabba a debt from years ago, and he has come to collect it. That sounds amazing, by the way. I'm excited for this game. It's not at like the top of my priorities, but I am very excited for this game. And this right here, I mean, come on. Jabba's Gambit sounds awesome. A heist of Canto Bight. You're talking like GTA heist type thing. That sounds awesome. It just sounds great. So these are screenshots from the game. Very cool. Shooting a probe droid there, fighting against the Empire there. The open worldedness of it. This is Canto Bight, it looks like a little bit there. Actually, this kind of looks like Kajimi. You can obviously fly through space, which is cool too. This looks like Nar Shaddaa, or Nar Shaddaa, whatever you want to pronounce it. That could be interesting. Oh, that's it, okay. Let's keep reading. The revelation sparked a backlash, with some players criticizing Ubisoft's decision to lock a mission behind a season pass for what is a full-price, single-player only game. So it's not a multiplayer game. This isn't a play with your friends. This isn't a season pass type game. It's just a single-player game. Now Ubisoft has issued a statement insisting Jabba the Hutt and Hutt Cartel will be a part of the experience for all players regardless of which edition that they buy. To clarify, Jabba the Hutt and the Hutt Cartel are one of the syndicates in the Star Wars Outlaws game that will be a part of the experience for everyone who purchases the game regardless of their edition, a Ubisoft spokesperson told IGN. The Jabba's Gambit mission is an optional additional mission with the Hutt Cartel, along with Kay and Nix's journey across the Outer Rim. The mission will be available to those who purchase the Season Pass or the other edition of the game, which includes the Season Pass. So it's just an added-on mission. You're still going to get to work with Jabba the Hutt, and you're still going to get to do all those other missions with Jabba, but there's added missions if you buy the Season Pass. Simple enough. However, the scope of the Jabba's Gambit mission remains unclear, leaving those who do not buy the Season Pass unsure of what they're missing out on. Ubisoft has said in the past that players can work for and even betray Jabba the Hutt as the head of portray Jabba as the head of one of Star Wars Outlaws' criminal factions. So again, it's an open... then it just says like when it's coming out. It's an open world Star Wars game. That's what's really intriguing to me about it. It's open world. And that sounds incredible to me. That sounds like what I've been waiting for my entire life, an open world Star Wars game where you can go and every interaction that you have with every single different character has a different outcome. So if you betray Jabba the Hutt, you're going to have a bad relationship with Jabba. If you work for Jabba, then you're going to have a good relationship with Jabba. That's the Star Wars Outlaws news. So crisis kind of averted. Yes, if you buy the better version, you get better missions or different missions, but that's kind of what was expected. Okay, now let's move on to Andor Season 2 news. So for you Andor Season 2 fans out there, and I know there's many of you, it's still not coming out this year. It's probably going to come out next year, but Tony Gilroy has given a very, very positive outlook on what is to come for Andor Season 2. So this is coming from Star Wars Newsnet. Let's read this one. As Tony Gilroy calls Andor the most important thing that he has ever done. Let's read this. So this is Tony right here talking to Cassian, or talking to Diego Luna. That's Tony Gilroy right there. He's the guy who kind of came in and saved Rogue One. Rogue One was in shambles up until the last second, kind of, and he was the one who came in and saved the day for that show, or for that movie, I should say. And then he got to do Andor Season 1, and now he's doing Andor Season 2. So, over the weekend, Tony Gilroy was presented with the Ian McKellen Hunter Award for Career Achievement during the Writers Guild of America Awards. So he received some big award, honoring his lifelong dedication to storytelling and the organization. During the press junket following the ceremony, Tony Gilroy had a few words to say about Andor, the Star Wars series he is currently in post-production on. Okay, here's what he had to say. I've been on Andor for 5 years now. That's crazy. We are finishing the second half. I've had a lot of fun over the years, but I don't know whether I've done anything more important as these 24 hours of storytelling we are doing now. 24 hours of storytelling. So what does that mean? It was 12. Wait. I get it, because it's 24 episodes. So they're all going to be about an hour long. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because it's the thing I'm on now, but I don't think so. I've never had a chance to work this big before, which is really interesting because we know that Season 2 is going to be way bigger in scope than Season 1. Season 1 was all sort of in the same year. Season 2 is going to span over 4 years with 3 episode arcs throughout the season. That is a different year. So the first 3 episodes will be 1 year, then a year later, then a year later, then a year later, and lead right into Rogue One. Tony Gilroy is referring to Andor as a whole, meaning the 24 episode run, of which we've seen half of now. The second half, Season 2, finished production earlier this year and should arrive on Disney Plus in 2025, early 2025. It is severely affected by last year's strikes, which not only kept Gilroy off set for over 2 months, but eventually also closed up the whole thing for a few weeks before they were able to wrap it up. It was originally going to release in August of this year, however, now it is undetermined. Much has been said about the political messages hidden in plain sight in Andor, and it's also religious implications and much deeper themes. Gilroy himself is no stranger to activism, having actively participated in the Writers of America rallies last year, advocating for low-income writers' rights based on his own experiences as a decade-long member of the Guild. He also has some words to say about it on Sunday. So he just talks about his time with the Guild. We don't really have to get into that. That has nothing to do with Andor. Let's see if it goes into this. Yeah, so it just says what I said here. Each set of 3 episodes will cover an aforementioned of the 4 years. Andor was a critical darling back in 2022 and was nominated for 8 Emmys, including the Best Drama Series, Best Actor, Diego Luna, Best Director, Benjamin Caron, and Best Music by Nicholas Nicholas Britell, sure, and the best writing to Mr. Willimon. So Mr. Willimon, who wrote Andor season with obviously with Tony Gilroy, he wrote Andor season 1, and now he's going to be a co-writer of Dawn of the Jedi, the Dawn of the Jedi movie, which is pretty cool. So yeah, he wrote the One Way Out stuff. Yeah. So that's the Andor news, and that's the Star Wars Outlaws news. And that's pretty much all the news that we have for... Because honestly, the biggest thing is Bad Batch right now. We got 2 more episodes, and then we got Tales of the Empire after that, and then we're on the whole track of The Acolyte, because The Acolyte's only a month after that. So we still got 2 episodes of the Bad Batch left. So obviously, before we get on out of here, as we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark here, drop your craziest predictions for episode 14, next week's episode 14. Episode 14 of the Bad Batch. What do we think is going down in episode 14? Drop your craziest predictions before we get out of here for today's stream. Drop your craziest predictions for episode 14, as we only have 2 episodes left for this Bad Batch season 3. Absolutely insane. Guys, this show is over in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from today, we'll be sitting here on this live stream, and we'll be talking about how great the Bad Batch was, but it will be over. There will be no more Bad Batch. That's pretty sad. But I still think the next 2 episodes, are going to be extremely good. So let's talk about it. Anthony says, Mike, yeah, what's up with the game being $130? The game seems cool, but damn, Atari never cost that much. Why couldn't they just price it the same as the Jedi games? Well, it is priced the same as the Jedi games. Just if you want the exclusive version or the ultimate version or whatever it's called, it's $130. The game itself is the same as Jedi Survivor at the $70 tier. Yeah. Yeah. Anthony says, if it ever comes to fruition, I wonder what the charge will be to play/own Star Wars Eclipse, open world Star Wars game, just as much or even more. It'll probably be around 70 as well, I would guess. Yeah. What if we get a High Republic animated series? I don't know. You already have the Young Jedi Adventures, which is obviously for like little kids, but we're going to the Acolyte, which is obviously going to be in the High Republic. And as we can see, Soul is very excited for the Acolyte, and so is Brandon. I'm very excited for the Acolyte too. But the Acolyte's going to take place at the end of the High Republic. I don't know if they're going to focus too much on the High Republic, or if we're going to move back to the Dawn of the Jedi and just go to the Old Republic. But we'll see. We'll see. Soul says, I'm very hyped for the Acolyte show. Me too. Brandon says, I'm so hyped for the Acolyte show. Me too. Christoph says, Hemlock finds out... here's his theory for next week's episode. Hemlock finds out that the Bad Batch is on their way to Tantis, and the Emperor sends Vader to Tantis to finish them off. But then Vader finds out about the Emperor's secret project Necromancer. So it's impossible. So you're contradicting yourself? Well, it is possible that Vader still doesn't find out about Project Necromancer, even if he goes to Tantis. Because it's not the only thing on Mount Tantiss. As we can see, there's multiple mountains, but there's more than just Project Necromancer going on in Tantis. So maybe he doesn't ever find out. I don't know. Vader showing up is still up in the air, but I can't wait to find out. I can't wait. And by the way, 70% of you say no, you don't trust Rampart. So Rampart, or 69, nice. 69% of you don't trust Rampart, 30% do. Math is not mathing, but that's okay. It's really interesting because I don't know if we can trust Rampart yet, but he's not going to turn on the Bad Batch and turn them into the Empire because he wants to go back to the Empire. He's not that dumb. He knows he's not going back to the Empire. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anthony says, I am nervous for the Acolyte. I have a feeling by the end of premiere, I will know whether I care or not to watch the rest of the miniseries. It's going to be a quick win or a loss. Yeah, a lot is riding on that premiere of that show, so I hope it is a very good one. But it's a 2-episode premiere too, so maybe it'll be pretty good. I'm hoping for the best when it comes to the Acolyte. I want it to be a massive success, but we just have to wait and see. We really don't know until we see it, you know? But yeah, we went over a lot today. You guys don't think Vader's going to show up. You do think the Palpatine's going to show up. You really do think that Rex is going to show up with the other clones. And you don't know if we can trust Rampart. Interesting. Interesting. I can't wait till next week's episode just because I want to know who the hell the clone assassin is. I want to know everything. I want to know where Hemlock was last week. And I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. And is it really going to be 22 episodes? Is it going to be an hour and 10-minute finale? I don't know. Catherine says maybe Vader wants to sabotage Mount Tantiss when he finds out about it. Yeah, I'd love to see that side of Vader. I would. Because we don't really get to see that much unless it's in the comics and in the novels, is that Vader tries to turn against Palpatine like all the time. I'd love to see that. Yeah, I would. Dr. Hemlock says, the cavalry will not be able to save the Bad Batch from their fate. Yeah, I think even if the cavalry is Rex and the others, I think they won't show up until it's too late. I think they won't show up until the Bad Batch have kind of already either sacrificed themselves or they're in the midst of sacrificing themselves. But I guess we'll have to just wait and see. All right, this was a great stream. I know it's a little bit shorter than we've been going recently, but it was absolutely incredible. Watch out for a video tomorrow. I don't really know on what yet. I'm racking my brain around a few different things, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be about the run times for the next 2 episodes, but we'll see about it. All right, watch out for that video tomorrow. We got live streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for the rest of your lives. Smash a like on this video if you have not yet. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. In my pretty face will show up the recommended feed of yours. This was a great stream. That's all I got to say. That's all I can say. Huge shout out to Officer Murdoch for becoming a member at the Padawan level. I appreciate that. And Mary and Brian and Taylor for all becoming members as well. I appreciate you. And huge shout out to your pal Joe, who's the first ever member for 8-month membership. Incredible. I appreciate you guys. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate every single one of you. Smash a freaking like on this stream. Yeah, see you guys on Saturday for the live stream, but watch out for a video tomorrow. If you guys haven't watched the breakdown video from yesterday, go watch that. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.